Good evening and welcome to the Monday, October 21st, 2024 meeting of Litchfield Board of Selectmen. We've been in a paperwork session we just come out of, and we'd like to start this meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. There you are. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Mr. Gannon will not be here tonight. He's traveling for work. You'll have to watch it on TV. Get some popcorn, Steve. All right. Up first, review and approval of consent items. We have an AP manifest for October 1st, 2024 in the amount of $1,174,262.71. For October 8th, 2024 in the amount of $87,783.85. For October 15th, 2024, the amount of $98,695.04. And for October 22nd, 2024, in the amount of $47,301.05. We have a payroll manifest for October 3rd, 2024, in the amount of $69,668.12. October 10th, 2024, in the amount of $67,917.48. For October 17th, 2024, in the amount of $69,832.35. And for October 24th, 2024, in the amount of $74,183.55. Easy for me to say. Communications received since September 20th, 2024 is all on the town website. You can go there and check out all the correspondence. Treasurer reconciliation for August 2024. Intent to cut map 18, lot 62 and 64. Town clerk reconciliation for September 2024. Tax collector reconciliation for September 2024. And a purchase order to Computer Square Inc. in the amount of $56,217.10. Are there any items people would like to discuss or move? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion we accept as read.
Motion from Mr. Brunel,
Second?
second from Ms. Queenan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0-0. Any requests for additional items or other business? Right. Public input will occur no earlier than 6:45 PM. All right, under business, we have approval for the minutes of September 19th, 2024. It was a special budget meeting. Everybody have a chance to check it out? Any questions or
No,
amendments or anything?
I just had a comment. That's all, it's correct.
Mhm.
Page 2, item 3,
Mhm.
personnel budget increased due to impact of the 2024 salary study and associated new wage scales. I think we have a memo attachment coming up on that when you wrote back to the budget committee. Yes, okay. I just want to make sure because there were questions about that. So when that comes up, I'd like to,
Okay.
so the public understands what's happening there. Yep, but it looked right. I just wanted to make sure that's what was being spoken about at the budget committee.
Sure. Anything else?
No?
Okay, cool. All those in favor of acceptance? Oh, we need a motion for
I
approval.
make a motion we approve the minutes as reviewed.
I'm going quick. We have a motion from Mr. Brunel,
I will second.
a second from Ms. Queenan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0-0. Approval of the minutes for September 23rd, 2024. Everybody seen those and any changes?
I have a question on that.
Okay.
Need everyone's recollection.
Okay.
Page 8. I think I just want to switch 2 words if that's how people remembered it. It's section K, open space warranty deed for the Talarico development. Let's see, on the first line, it said that I noted that the property would be deeded to the town of Litchfield and managed by the Conservation Commission. I think that was legal that did that. And it said next, it says some were concerned that the deed would not have a plan number before signing. That's what I was concerned about. So if they can substitute my name on the first sentence to say legal, and then instead of saying some were concerned, you can say that I was concerned.
So I think
I
you're
think she's right
correct.
too, yeah.
Yes.
So I had
It
a
was
cons-
legal that,
Yeah. They assured us it was okay, but I was just concerned about that just because of the way the deeds usually work. So, yeah, so such for Matt, changed my name to legal, and then on the third line at the end where it says some were concerned, just say Kim Queenan was concerned.
All
Or
right.
you can leave it as some, either one, whatever you guys want. All right,
So we'll entertain a motion for the approval with the amendment.
I'll make a motion, we approve the September 23rd, 2024 minutes as amended by Selectman Queenan.
We have a motion for Mr. Brunel and a second from Mr. Lynch. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Up next, we have planning board appointment. Jesse?
No.
No. Okay. Silent G. Perfect. All right, Jesse, no. Jesse, come on up. Come on, have a seat. Give us a little, Reader's Digest version. Who you are, how long you been here, et cetera, why you want to be on the planning board.
Yes, of course. So I live on 6 Spicewood Circle. Been living in town for 3 years, and civic engagement is something that is important to me. One of the reasons why I want to be on the planning board is I have a general interest for land planning, but also I read in the town newsletter and I saw the sign that there is a need for planning board volunteers. So first and foremost, I just want to give back to the town. My wife and I live here, fell in love with the town, put our roots down, grow a family, and I just want to give back to the town in some capacity.
Thanks. Does anybody have any questions on him?
You said you had some background in land use?
More of an interest, not a background. I have a genuine interest for land planning.
You walk into land, but it's very easy. There's nothing easy to it.
It's good. Anybody?
No,
Anybody else have a question?
I heard his interview at the planning board meeting, so.
Yeah.
oh, you did?
It's a little, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
You did go in there.
That didn't scare you, huh? Good.
It didn't scare me.
I think they tried to, but they didn't get very far.
We'll have a motion to accept his gracious offer.
I'll make the motion
Okay.
to accept him to be a member of the planning board.
it's an alternate.
Yes.
Alternate, okay, that was my question.
As an alternate,
Yeah.
yeah. it
Yeah,
says an alternate.
expiring March of 2027.
Yep.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Lynch and a second from Ms. Queenan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you for wanting to serve and welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll have to go see
Our town clerk,
town clerk to get sworn in.
Okay.
the paperwork will be there tomorrow. So right where you go to register your cars,
Mhm.
just tell them who you are and she'll come out and swear you in.
Yes, she will swear you in.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good luck.
Welcome aboard.
All right, up next, annual health and dental increases, 2025 budget updates. Ms. Kleiner.
So, as you can see in your portal, we did receive the new rates, and we did report them to the budget committee on Thursday evening. We were happy that the rates themselves only resulted in an increase of 28,596. Then we actually had a census change within the staff, so the final budget increase was $18,934. So although it is a small hit to the cap, it's certainly not as large. I did speak with other towns on Friday that certainly had a larger impact than we did, so we're happy for that. And then, so I have there in your portal a list of the decreases that were made by the budget committee. and everything from a small $400 to information technology, to larger decreases. The fire did have a decrease on that per diem that we spoke about at your special budget meeting. And it was recommended that that goes to warrant article. Solid waste had a small decrease, to diesel costs, and emergency management had a decrease, for equipment on their CERT, which is the second year that they've had that decrease. So I think probably the decrease that causes the most to be discussed is the porta chemical toilets in the park and rec.
Yep.
But I placed there for you all of the budget committee requests. So anybody that would like to read those, visit your portal.
Could we, is it appropriate to talk about this stuff right now then? These
Sure,
topics? So
absolutely.
the first thing is the per diem and the non-employee, non-part-time, non-full-time, 5-day a week per diem employee.
Fire department?
Right. If we go to warrant, I think the warrant should be for a full-time firefighter. And the reason why is if we do it any other way, if it gets denied, they will not be able to bring a third man on 8 to 5 if they need it. The warrant is gonna say no means no. And the reality of it is, they definitely can use it. Department still is 2 people, right? And at the end of the day, you have a captain who is running around doing administrative work. You have the part-time chief and the part-time deputy filling in and doing their things and being available for calls when he's out doing other things. That firefighter, paramedic who he's hired is at risk. And you're never sure where they're gonna be. And if we craft this warrant article the wrong way, we may be stuck where we can't bring a third person in during the day when we need them. Because a per diem is just the on-call person coming in and doing an 8-hour shift.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. However, I think that this is what the chief asked for, the chief and the captain, so I would be in favor of keeping it as they did and taking the chances with it, with a warrant article. Again, only because that is what the Chief Nickel asked for and Captain Glancy.
I would think bring them back and ask them what they want to do going forward. Because at least if a warrant article for full-time fails, they still have the option of bringing in a part-time, bringing in a per diem person, to help with mechanics, or help with during the day when they need that help.
The other issue would be, is that if he comes in with a full-timer, it's gonna be a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah, but then let it go to the folks. The budget committee can deny it, and let it go to the public and let them decide.
Which,
Because we could be in the same boat as we did last time. We put a car out to warrant because we were asked to do that. The voters turned it down. Now we get 3 cars at a sideline, and we have 2 cars running 100% right now.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I don't disagree with you, but I think that, that also throws us way over the budget cap again, if that passes for next year.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Because the new
Everything does.
position's gonna be 80,000 with benefits or something like that?
Everything does, yeah.
Which is gonna go into next year's,
Operating budget.
yeah.
Yeah. I think we need to speak with legal and understand how the warrant article should be crafted, because I certainly understand your concern. I share in it now. But the fact of the matter is, if there is an incident that is happening within the town, they call someone in now.
They will, yes.
I mean, we can't prevent them from being able to do that. It would,
Yeah. We can't stop them
As long
from
as you
doing
don't
their
use the
job.
word
Right.
per diem or full-time, they can probably do it. And I guess that's the question. Make sure we craft it correctly, but I'm just concerned that
Mm-hmm.
it turns into a no means no and we have an issue, right?
Right.
I think what the chief presented to us was a very workable thing, because if you think about it, those hours would potentially be, I think during the conversation, we had to reduce it to 40 hours, right?
Yep.
You probably could cut a little bit off of it and say that they're really drawing the hours out of the on-call. Because the reality of it is, if they gotta call up a third man during the day, they don't have to call the on-call, it's the same hours,
Correct.
right? So, I feel like the approach probably could, maybe, we just gotta,
There's a big
right, we just gotta balance it, right? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, is like, but the problem is the on-call department today, the difference between per diem and the on-call is the per diem person's committing to be there for the day,
That's important.
right?
Correct.
And available. And they're gonna be doing household, station duties and stuff like that has to get done, so you're getting a value out of it. But the
Yes.
reality, the funding should have just come out of the on-call, the call officer, the call department side. Cause you are cutting back potentially a person from responding for that 2 hours or 4 hours or 3 hours throughout the day when there's emergencies. So I just think we gotta be careful when we do it.
Let's
And,
look
and I
at-
do think I understand the tax implications, I get that part of it. But I also listen to what goes on throughout the day, and I know these guys are running around, they're stretched out, and two people just ain't able to take care of the station, plus service the community when it needs to be serviced.
Been 2 people since the day they started.
Oh, exactly.
So,
We haven't even thought about.
what year was that? 1980
59.
something?
80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was in the early 80s, really.
Yeah.
Because I
So
know.
it's been almost 40 years.
Because we hired Frank Fritzl as a firefighter back then for the first time. Him and 2 others over a short period of time. And Frank didn't last very long.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
It was back in the 80s.
And I do think there's becoming this perfect storm. We have this pressure on our tax base that we have. Our revenues are capped with our cap. We don't really have any economic development that could bring more revenue in to speak of to deal with it. But we have continuing needs, and the budget committee was talking about, what do we gotta cut? That budget committee was not willing to state they're gonna cut anything.
No.
There was a few that would take the direction to do it, but the reality of it is, we're gonna impact residents, and that's what I
how
wanna
do you
do.
get people on call during the day now?
Business day, because most people are
Okay.
leaving, and most people are on the department full-time someplace else.
Correct, and this is
Since
what's
they're
going
off
on.
shifts.
And I know when I was here, when I was on the call members, okay, responding to calls, I used to live in London during the time. I used to take calls, respond here, because it's only 10 minutes away,
Yeah.
okay, and the chiefs from the town allowed it, okay? By then, I was like getting home at 5 was, I just said that.
Yeah, right.
But I'll just say that we allowed it to cover, because there was no one to cover during the day. And in the winter time, it's a little different, you have more people around. But the farmers were on, back in the day, a lot of the people who worked on farm were on.
Yeah.
But today, you don't have that.
Yeah.
The only advantage you got today, you got people working at home. And that's a new thing, okay? Back in the day, you didn't have that. But today you do. Now, there may be, I know some people who work at home, they have a lot of flexibility.
Well, the reality of it is those folks that are working from home are not firefighters.
No,
And they
but
probably
some
have no
of them-
desire to be a firefighter
Yeah.
unless they would already be doing it.
Yeah.
Most of our call department are fledgling, want to be full-time firefighters at a full-time department, and that's what they're working towards,
Yeah, I know.
and they're getting their training here. There are others that are in the trades too, but then they're in the trades working out of town during the day.
I understand. I know
So-
what you're doing.
I think we have to address the fact that the shape of the department has changed based on the economics of the town, the people who live in town. We're no longer farmers living in house and working within the town. Most people leaving town, so, we just gotta, if we go forward with the per diem and the warrant, we just gotta be sure that
We're
we're,
looking at both ways again.
we're careful on it.
Let the town council
Do
review
we
it.
ask for both?
yeah, I guess.
Was the fire department at the meeting when this was suggested?
No.
So did they respond back yet? We should hear from them.
I am waiting for Chief
Okay.
Nickel to return, and we will discuss it.
Well, when they try to cut the call firefighter hours, I know they reacted to that, so.
They were asked if, the comment was made when they were giving their departmental update to the budget committee that it should be a warrant article, and they agreed, kind of,
Yeah.
at that time,
Sure.
so
Who agreed? The budget committee agreed?
They thought it
Fire.
would be, yeah.
Without probably considering what ramifications
Chief
could be.
and
as well.
deputy.
Oh, we've built a lot of homes, we have increased traffic on the roads, that's the accidents. I'm not gonna say aging population, because any age can call for an ambulance, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
So, I would entertain this, I think you're right, John, and I'm the last one to wanna spend money, but I think we are at a crossroads here. The only thing is we're relying on that backfill from the ambulance company, $175, whatever they charge, right? So that's another way that we balance it, but not for a fire. It's only for the traffic issues,
Right.
right? So I guess I would like to hear what the fire department thinks of the risk on this, or why they didn't propose that to begin with. I don't know
Yeah.
if a promise was made when the new
Well-
fire station was built, if they wouldn't. I don't know.
No,
don't
I
remember
think,
that.
I was on it when that was done, there was no.
There was no promise, so that's
No.
good.
There was commentary about us becoming a full-time department with overtime staff, and that was never the desire, and I think their request for a 5-day per diem position, which is basically a non, not a full-time part-timer, or not a, whatever they call it, was very reasonable in the fact that it has to go to warrant, when it really shouldn't have to go to warrant, because it's nothing without any benefits.
But it is an increase in service. So that should go to warrant.
It's not an increase in service, it's an increase in demand on their department that needs the people to do the work.
But any new or part-time position should always go
It's,
to warrant.
it's not a person, though.
Still a position.
But it's
a
not a
position.
person.
It's a position.
We float people in and out of the recycling center as part-timers and never know, we don't have any, I mean, they have a limit what they have because of a budget, but it's not a person. Sometimes there's people that come and go for seasonal work. I mean, I don't,
You have 2 guys on full-time now, you would have a third guy basically there every day of the week.
a third person that will be a different person every day.
Yeah. But it's
And if
still
we're lucky,
it's
maybe
a
more than
position.
once, but.
Yeah. So it should go to warrant. I think the warrant's the place for it, just how the chief wants to craft it, if he wants to stay with this or go with a full-timer.
Well, I think the board needs to advise the chief on what's the best way to craft it. If he decides that per diem is still the best path forward, then we've got to get guidance on how to write it the right way.
I think we need to get guidance from legal.
Yeah.
And then we can speak with the chief, and he and his deputy can join you and
Yeah.
have a discussion.
I think what the chief and the deputy came forward with, we need a third person available to us during the daytime. That's the only concern. How to get there is up to us to decide for them and how to get there. So, okay. Next topic? Porta potties?
Yeah, that and the CERT training, I really did not like those cuts.
So the porta potty thing, I get them cutting it, all right, whatever, and I get the dialogue that was there, let the leagues pay for it, okay, great. I'm not in favor of the porta potties not being managed by the town. Because then at that point, we're not in control when they're there, we're not in control when they're being cleaned, we're not in control if something breaks. The town's gonna get called if they're a disarray
Regardless,
or is a
correct.
problem. So we might as well own the contract and then, basically cross-charge it back to the leagues. And I think when someone suggested the idea, and I think we were talking about it that night, just whatever the total cost is for the year, divide it into 4 quarters, and this is what goes to the leagues, and we just divide up the payments. Make them evenly, just make it even.
Remember, I used to get the complaints on the 40 John's down there.
But the difference is we'll be running them. It's our porta potties, it's our contract, they're just funding it.
But I used to run.
Please come
the
back.
Rec department to call. I did it for them because at the time, I used to call them up to come get it clean, this, do this, and I was,
Like I said, I just think the town needs to be the,
Jim's not doing it.
Yeah, but I'd be more than happy to give it to someone else.
yeah, like I said, I think that the town should
crappy
own
job.
the contract, own the business relationship, and make sure they're being maintained. And
Yeah,
we
because
just charge-
regardless, it's gonna, I mean, the individual users are not gonna get the calls, it's gonna be the town.
No, and it's the same,
Town
and it's the same thing with the trash, going back on the other topic that was 3 weeks back, was the trash issue, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
as I understand it, the agreement with the leagues is when you're there, you take the crap out and dump it in the dumpster. If you don't do it, we're not expected to do it,
No.
right? Well, we shouldn't have to do it. So getting a phone call on a Monday saying that the fields are filthy after a
Nice,
big,
yep.
an event that happened that all weekend, those team
That
coaches
crew should go
should have
back.
gone back. I say if we gotta dispatch the DPW, we send them a charge, cleaning fee, after usage, just like Airbnb does. You don't put the trash out, they'll charge you for it.
But who do we send it
To
to?
the leagues. Whoever's leasing the property at the time, whether it's a league or one of those, for-profit terminates are going on, send it to the terminal owners. Here's the contract you signed, it said you're gonna take your trash and dump the barrels out and put it in the trash, in the
dumpster.
dumpster. If you don't do it, and we have to go down there with our resources, we're gonna charge you several hours of labor.
And I think our rec department does a good job with that, because I know Mr. Burns and Mr. Ruggles and a few others, they're always there doing stuff. And
Sure.
some of the others, even with the softball leagues, I know my son's involved and Mr. McCormick's also involved. They're always taking trash to the dumpsters and everything, but I think sometimes the out-of-town users are not. And that, and
Special
again,
events and
yeah,
stuff like that
they-
going on down there, like if the school's got something going on, or something like that, or some other group that they're allowed to go in the first place. That, the regulation controls it to a degree. They should be responsible to go after whatever had to be done.
Right, but instead, we're getting a phone call saying it's not done.
Right.
And,
We
you know,
should
we have to,
forward
who do we
it back
gotta
to
call?
them.
We call the DPW, they go down and take care of it.
I know.
But that's time out of their schedule to do it, and what's the ramification to the league that didn't do what they were supposed to do?
You got it.
So, either the contract they're signing and the agreement they're signing needs to put a clause on there. If they don't do what they're supposed to do, and we go back down to the following, Monday, and we find trash everywhere, they're gonna pay a pickup fee.
I'm not sure that that is in the application, but we can make sure, because the application has to be modified anyways, to include the new fee structure and the fact that they're going to make it, you reserved the property, you pay. It's not, because a lot of people were reserving it and then not showing up, and they
wanted the
yeah,
money
they
back.
don't, so it's gonna be you reserved it, the date was assigned to you, you owe.
Yeah, that's gotta get tougher, because I know that the fields are booked all the time, and I go down there all the time, the fields don't seem like they're even being used, but
Um,
Are you asking for a deposit for them to pay up front?
I don't know if they do you?
I
we,
don't know if you want to have
I think
another
rec should
Yes.
handle it.
bookkeeping
so
exercise.
legal, so rec has reached out to us and we've worked with legal,
Okay.
and legal has recommended that you require payment up front and you don't bill. The other thing is, so not in the recreational budget, is the fact that we had negotiated a new Porta chemical toilet
Yep.
contract. I negotiated it with United Services. Rec hasn't approved it yet, but that would be at a lower cost. But that contract's with the town.
Yep.
So they are going to bill us.
Yep.
And if we are going to then turn around and bill the agencies, John's right, it needs to be managed here, because they're not offering that to different agencies. They're offering that price to the town. I do,
That's not unusual to hear what I'm hearing, because when you get outside functions going in there, things change right off the bat.
right,
And normally they gotta get a blessing from town or the rec. Okay, basically it's the town through the rec, okay? And there should be responsibility. Before they used to pick up their trash. I remember that. People used to go in and pick up their trash. Okay, the town had to go in there a few times in my time here and do it because of some events got a little carried away. That's common. But then you have events and it rains and snows on them. Okay? It's a matter of having the procedure in place to handle what needs to be done to take care of it.
I think our highway department works very hard to
They do.
work with everyone. I think the difficulty is when it's a large project, and so I'll give you an example. They were asked to go and cut down trees and brush and around the rope course. That was 3 highway guys for 3 days. That's a lot to take that amount out of the highway department.
Yep.
But they did it and they got it accomplished, and the course has been certified again.
Are they gonna start using it again?
That, to my knowledge, that's what they,
They changed the ropes and then they were all
I thought the agreement with the school was the school would maintain that area, meaning if there was trees to be cut down, ropes to be placed, they would do all the work and bring in experts to do it versus having us do it.
Right. I seem to remember that too.
Yeah, that was the thought.
So why did DPW go in there and do all that work?
We were asked by the Recreation Commission.
Yes.
Should have asked
It's
the
been
school.
so long that the ropes course have been really used.
No, I understand that, but I didn't,
We'll have to go back and find that agreement, because I think you're
Yeah,
right.
must
I
have
think you're
changed.
100% right
Yeah.
there. I remember that conversation.
I find it, DPW has enough to do without being, not have something not planned and have have a call like that. It's one thing if it's planned, if it was all of a sudden brought up on a Monday, I need it done Tuesday and Wednesday, that's a problem. I'm glad Kevin has the time to do it, or found the time to do it, but, we shouldn't be surprised by a request like that. That's something they knew about coming, they knew it was coming. Whether it was the school or the rec commission, it doesn't matter to me, someone knew it was being planned to be redone. So someone should have notified us to do it, if they needed our help.
I mean, that was done earlier, this summer, but
Communication's half the battle.
it is, but it's difficult because, of course, highway doesn't have a lot of extra time. So, I'm not sure, I believe Recreation Commission is going to discuss the portables tomorrow night at their meeting. They did reach out to me and ask if the contract would be available to the outside sports agencies, and I said, no, the contract is with the town. I guess we could internally then bill the agencies, but I don't want to put a lot of extra billing
Yeah.
and finance work on the town either.
No, I think
So
we're
let's
at,
do it quarterly, yearly, something, not
Yeah, I mean,
monthly.
whatever's easier for the town to do it, but I think at the end of the day, rec should be not managing it, and we should be doing it, and we should be, make sure we get the funds for it.
I think if somebody from out of town wants to use the fields, when they fill out their permit and they turn it in, they should give you a deposit at the time to cover. That should be required.
Well, when there's a special events, do we bring in the extra porta potties, or does the event owners bring the extra porta potties, and do we give them a contact?
I think it's the event people. I think Chris
No,
Spirit
so,
Litchfield did that.
Not that I
For
know.
instance, like when Spirit of Litchfield has an event, they will let me know, and I will call the porta potty
Requesting additional,
company
yeah.
and request another one. We've also had, an instance where they had a tournament, Blast had a tournament. They let me know they needed an extra porta potty. They paid us for it, and we brought it in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that if we just leverage a contract we have to be able to pull an extra if we need it, and just get ourselves reimbursed. Yeah. Okay.
And I didn't like the cert cut either. I mean, they worked so hard
Yeah.
to get that going and to get the people involved and whatnot. And I do kind of understand what they're saying, once you have all the equipment, you don't need it anymore, but if you've got revolving members, I mean, you're gonna need equipment. It's
Yeah, you
gonna
can't
have to
guarantee you're gonna get your,
be The same people all the
the
time.
jacket back
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever else they got, cause it's all personal equipment at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was a bummer.
It was.
Maybe we can do something about that at deliberative.
Well, all this stuff we can do something at deliberative, but
So there are still 121,334 over the cap, which leads you to the next item.
Oh, wait a minute, before we get there, it is now 7:05 PM, we should open it up to public input. Any members of the public that wish to come forward?
Corey, you can't sit there and I'll come up and talk. Something nice, I don't know.
13.
Hearing none, we will close public input at 7:06 PM. Up next, we have use of fire impact fees for the 2025 bond interest payment. I'll let you start with it, and then I'll give my recommendation. You know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, And this is an item that came up Thursday night kind of abruptly at the budget committee, and I apologize for that. You know, in an attempt to divert some of the very painful cuts due to the tax cap, we do have these impact fees. The town has been collecting impact fees because of the current projects that are going on. There is 43,000 in the fire impact fees, although that would be draining the account. And that could be used to pay the 2025 interest portion of the bond payment.
Which is what we've done in the past anyway, right?
You have, yes.
Could we do 41,000 with a bond and 2,000 back for a cert? Just saying.
No, it's gotta be for that department,
Impacts,
right?
yeah.
The cert's for the
Does CERT go
department.
under the fire
For the-
department?
And the
it's expansion of services. Just saying, I mean, we can
And it
give
does
the whole
fall under the fire
43,
department, right?
yeah.
Isn't Chief Nickel the,
Yes, oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
well, my recommendation was gonna be to give 40,000 towards the, budget committee overspend, the budget overspend right now, and save 3,000, because I don't like to drain the account. And I know there will be more coming in as we building houses and getting new, occupancy permits. Yeah, but it's gonna take a while to build it back up again. So I'm not in favor of draining it. So my recommendation would be to put 40,000 towards it. And then if we can do the cert with the
I
two.
think you can. It is creating expanded services for,
I probably just
Um,
overplayed my hand, because I really don't want to have them come back and take out another 1,000 and say, well, you got 3,000 there already, so use 3,000. But just overplayed my hand.
So I know it's allowed to be done. Can you explain why impact fees, just from my understanding, can be used to pay off the bond? Is that because the building,
the
Was
building
built for
was
the
an
town to
expansion
expand
of
it? Okay.
services. Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
that's
We've
what I
done that the
thought.
last
Just
couple of
wanted to
years,
make
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. And the CERT team is new. It was created to expand services and, provide additional, workforce, in that capacity. And you're buying new equipment to
Yep.
outfit this
correct,
expanded service, so.
correct.
I definitely think that could be made.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, 40,000 is probably fine, and then we can have a discussion after we get through all this and see if we can use the additional funding to help fully vet out CERT and get it done with. Because like you said, maybe there'll be more there, and we'd be able to get all the stuff he needs, right? He's been doing it in piecemeal.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
5,000, not 43.
Sure, you want me to do that?
Yes.
I'm just trying to get it in my head before I do that. The 3,000 for the cert.
would
It
be
wasn't,
two-
it wasn't just for that one event. You were for anything,
for the
any other
year.
department that wants to use this cert team, right?
Yes.
Recreation, sponsor, anybody.
Whatever they need, yeah.
So you are expanding down through services through that.
Yes.
So we
All right, so you want to know,
$40,000.
so you want to make a motion to use $40,000 of the fire impact fees? And to pay down the bond?
We're just gonna change the number on there from 43.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, potential cut. All right, so we'll make a motion to do $40,000 for the fire impact fees used to pay interest on the fire station bond. Will be moved to the selectmen agenda for today, which it already is, obviously. I didn't have to read that. All right, I make a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Ms. Queen and a second from Mr. Brunel. Any further discussion? Right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 400. All right,
Now,
so,
one other
That's
question,
fine.
I just remembered something too, Bob.
okay, yep.
If we recall correctly, $175,000 is coming off this year as the last payment. That means that $775,000 we can afford to put back into the tax cap. So you can go for a warrant article for a new firefighter. Just kidding.
Thanks for the fight, huh?
Yeah,
Um,
no.
I missed,
Good, but you might want police cars.
Well, actually, that, in retrospect, the communication stuff coming off does help us next year as we go
Yes,
into next
it
year,
does.
but,
But we need to get the cruisers back in the operating budget.
correct.
I mean, there's no way around that. Because that's always a topic every year, so. Now, as far as the money for the CERT team,
I wouldn't do anything with that now.
I would check with legal, just make sure that it's okay.
Sure.
But if they,
We don't have to
Do that.
decide that now anyway.
no, we don't, no. If
It's
we-
an option if they decide they need the money.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, up next, we have ARPA, request to change the use of $13,000 for CERT team communications. Original request, IT equipment PD, update monitors, overhead speakers, MDT replacement, replace 2 firewalls, PD WatchGuard, video recorder replacement, mobile equipment. I'm gonna go straight to Mr. Brunel for this one.
Yeah, so back when we got the opera funds, a lot of the departments came forward with a bunch of projects that fit the criteria.
Correct.
The only funding that's remained is a result of my underspend of what I was already given.
Okay.
And the original use, we've done everything that was originally intended, except for, a speaker system within the police department.
Yep.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that now, whereas potentially other things may come down the road. So we have a bigger need, which is we're trying to improve communications with the school. We're trying to improve communications for the CERT team. And we want to bring them on to our UHF system that we have townwide already, that the schools are using, the PDs are using. So my ask is for me to be able to expend up to $13,000 to purchase additional portable radios for the CERT usage, what they call a mini base for the police department, so they can actually have communications between here and the school, but also with the CERT team if they're on the road for something like that, and have access to a dispatcher. So that's basically their request. And I believe the last accounting, it's $13,000, which is basically what was left plus interest, if I recall correctly, right?
Well, yeah, yours is the last of the encumbered.
Yep.
10,000 something,
And
and
then the
then
interest.
the interest, yes.
what was
This
it?
is equipment, this ain't really firewalls.
No, I did the firewalls too. I was able to save money.
A firewall is a firewall.
Yeah.
No, when I originally came forward, I actually was able to get things at a lot cheaper than I originally was quoted.
Okay.
And I brought it all in at one time, so I was able to reduce my overall cost. So there's savings because of that, and because I haven't done the speakers, which was, from what's left in there was 10, I think the speakers were like 7. So I saved about $4,000 or so, or $3,000 in the stuff that I already purchased. So, like I said, it fits the criteria for the opera. It's a need. It's something CERT needs. It's also something the PD needs. So it's really, in the spirit of the opera fund that we originally allocated. And I'm not changing it. It's for public safety, so it's not any different than what I originally requested.
That was my question, did it meet the ARPA? Yeah, because we only had a few items, and they are looking at these funds now, how they're being spent.
Did we do that audit yet?
We only had a few
We did our
line
single
items.
audit for
Single
what we
audit.
spent last
Yep.
year, yes.
So this one would pass the test, is what you're saying? This one.
Well, that wasn't, they didn't go into what ARPA could be spent on. That would be the, that would be the treasury that does that.
Yep.
The auditors just make sure that you followed your policies and your procedures on how you spent that money.
That's why I want to make sure that this falls under communication.
Well, John had already, the board had already approved him to use funds for the IT equipment for the PD. And he's already spent some, so each year I have to tell them what we've spent it on. And his is the last to be finished of this money, and if we don't use it,
We
We lose it.
we have to return it by the end of this year if it's not allocated or, spent, yeah.
Again, I'm just trying to
But-
make sure what you're spending it on now
Yeah.
matches what we agreed.
Yes, and I think to,
You stole my thunder.
Selectman-
I don't want to have a
to
problem.
Selectman Queenan's point is we need to remember that there's the new federal grant policy, so we will have to have quotes and the backup and all of that according to the new policy that's been developed, with the assistance of legal and the auditors. But the single audit, if anyone is interested, is posted to our website.
Okay. Because those of us that have been here through all that ARPA stuff, we were always concerned about,
Yeah.
is it right, can we do it, can we use
Yeah.
it?
You got it.
Yeah, so,
As long as you follow the same procedures and you
okay.
cross your T's and dot your I's in the end, everything should work out.
I think if it's something that's public safety, especially within, the use within the schools and whatnot, if it helps them out,
Public safety.
then I am all for it.
Yep.
So, we need a motion for this to request the change.
I can't make the motion.
Yeah, you
so-
can't, yeah, so either Kim or Kevin, or,
So correct this if I'm wrong,
There it
request
is.
to use $13,000 from the CERT communication for
IT equipment.
IT equipment, that's all I was looking at here.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we have a motion from Mr. Lynch. Second?
I would, Kevin, I'd restructure it, use up to $13,000 from the remaining
For
ARPA
the
fund, for
Okay.
use for
I'll
public,
I'll use up to $13,000 from the ARPA fund.
for additional public
for
safety and
additional
CERT equipment.
public
Safety and CERT
safety
equipment.
equipment for the IT program.
Second.
Yeah.
And mix-
We have an amended
What's the watch guy too?
motion by Mr. Lynch. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
A second from Ms. Queen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 400.
Nope, 301.
301, I'm sorry, we have an abstention.
Yes.
My mistake.
I like the way it's worded. 2 firewalls.
Up next,
for the TV.
we have a discussion on DARA correspondence, trash, and portables.
Oh, I kinda already talked
We
about that.
already
We
did.
kinda already talked about that.
Yep, so we covered that one. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry.
Is there any additional discussion? None? Okay, good. Opportunity, up next, we have opportunity to discuss economic development in Litchfield. Ms. Kleiner.
So the Manchester Chamber of Commerce reached out to me, and we met via Zoom, the director and I, we had a lovely conversation. They are reaching out, one of the initiatives that they're doing is they're reaching out to the communities around them, and they are writing an article for Yankee Magazine, which will speak about kind of what each community has and what appeals. And so there's a list of questions here, but it is time sensitive. That they need these, and I didn't know the best avenue. One of the thoughts was we could send them out to each person on the Economic Development Committee, because they all represent the various boards, right? You have rec, you have conservation, you have, and they could speak to their people and bring them back to economic development next Wednesday, because they're really the next group that has a meeting, and, figure out what should be submitted. But I didn't know if the selectmen wanted to have input, and you could give your input too, or not if you want to respond at all, but I think it's an opportunity to tell a lot of good things about Litchfield. And some of the questions are very interesting. So,
Yeah, I think it's very good.
what is one word that you would use to characterize Litchfield?
I think not only to that group, I think if you send it to like the conservation, also historical, and other, and the planning board, see if they can respond back too.
Well, it's
I
gotta
think-
be done fairly quickly.
I
It's
think,
quick,
I think the
yeah.
reason why I suggested sending to the economics, they all have members that sit on that board.
Yeah.
Or that
You just want the
commission.
input from the Economic
Okay.
Development Committee
Okay.
people?
I just thought that is a group that's meeting, right?
Yeah.
That's why actually the chamber reached out, they deal with economic development, that's what they were doing. And that committee has a representative from every board. That's the only one that I could think of that really does.
I don't know if they would speak for everybody on their board, though. They might have differences of opinion. I would say get it out to everybody, all of the board, you know, but that's my opinion, or ask why are we doing it?
Knowing that it is time sensitive and they have to get the answers
Okay,
back.
I mean, I can send it,
Tell them
I
it's
can
time
send it to
sensitive.
the chair of each board and have them
Okay.
gather their peoples, but I think if I send it to every single board, and now I have
Wait.
No,
30 people responding directly to me, I'm afraid that something could get lost, and I don't want that to
Run
happen.
it through the chairs.
Okay,
That's why they're there.
all right. I'll send it out to the chairs first thing tomorrow morning. And then how does the selectmen want to proceed from there? Do you want it put together and run by you?
Yes. I'd like to hear the input from the group.
Okay,
And the reason for that, I'm looking at this, and I know you're dealing, I'm looking at what the features, the recreational, the fun facts about Litchfield.
Yeah.
What do you want this town to look like?
Yeah.
These are all things that,
When is this due? When do you have to have it in?
By the end of the month, looks
by
like.
the end of the month, yeah.
Okay, and they're meeting on the 30th, so
Yeah.
that's not a very long turnaround.
I could, how about as a board member, then I could send you something to
Yeah.
add to it as well,
Right.
okay? And I'll make it even, at least I said something.
I'm just thinking, what's one word you would use to characterize Litchfield? You could give me 30 different answers. Who's picking? Who's choosing?
Sort of. There could be redundant, you know, five said this, three said that.
Changing.
On the other side too.
You might get some negative words.
Yeah, right.
Like law. So we look at the town, I know Paul and I look at the town differently to a degree.
Right.
Because we've been here since somebody said yes. Okay, I just say that. Okay, and there's others who feel the same way who just got here. I found this out talking to people too. They like the character. So I'm looking at the big picture is what I'm thinking about.
So Yankee Magazine takes this information. I'm not sure what their agenda is with the information. You're saying it's economic development
Yeah, they're trying
or
to
promotion, which one is it?
help the communities by letting people know about what each community has, that its strengths. So, I mean, when we met, we were talking a lot about the farms and the beautiful and the conservation properties and,
Open
you know, open space, farmers markets, the fields. I mean, we talked a lot about all of that.
I'm gonna respond back to some of these questions to you.
Okay,
Okay.
and I'll get them out to the
As a
chairs and,
long-term citizen, I'll have something to say, I guess.
and certainly the board could just decide. I just did, whatever your preference is, I will do.
Yeah, I would gather all the info and then we can take a look at it and try to,
If I write something, I'm gonna send it to everybody.
Yep.
Even
Yeah,
Kate.
likewise.
She can do it.
I have one for the trivia,
What's that?
the trivia one, the
Where
driving.
was the swingers club located?
That one came
Which
to
was the,
mind.
yeah, I know, which one?
Driving.
The one in the north was the Brown House, I think, and the one in the south, I don't know.
Don't go there,
The drive-in,
don't go there.
I remember the driving as a kid.
or our zip code, when we finally got our zip code.
I ran it for
What's
Jeff.
the matter? You know what that is, what we're known for?
You got that
No.
25 years ago?
Was it that long ago?
Oh, yeah, it's been a while now.
Might have been the early 2000, when
When
we got our own zip code.
Cause we got the zip code when, I think when I moved into town, or just
Yes,
right
it's
after,
all
cause I
the
think,
way
cause I was still rural route something.
Mine
for a
was
while.
Rural Route
Yeah, we
3,
were 0305
03103.
too. We had the same as Hudson.
Right,
Mine was 03103.
so I've been here 27 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something like 25, 26 years ago.
We got our own zip code. Ooh.
I remember when I first got car insurance, they thought, cause my
We used to have a
address
liquor
was
store. We had a
Manchester.
state liquor store.
You did?
Yep.
Where?
It was
Where?
over where Small Tube is.
There was a,
Oh.
wasn't there a
Grocery
supermarket
store
there?
and, yeah, there was a grocery store and a liquor store there.
I remember the grocery store.
Yep.
Couldn't buy us food.
See, I think that's some fun trivia. Nobody would know that.
I didn't know there was a grocery store.
I
there.
knew there was a grocery store. That was before me, but I knew there was a grocery store.
I'm sure if we knocked our heads together, we could come up with some good ones.
A video store next to Pantry Pride.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Oh, yeah, that.
Then
knew
it
about that.
moved, then it moved over to small tubes, cause
Yes.
it kinda got
Right.
For a
outgrown.
while, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right, but it's gonna go out tomorrow morning and it's gonna have a very quick deadline. Okay.
I'll reach out to some folks on Historical Society because I bet most of them have lived here their whole lives. and-
If anyone's interested,
So you
the
can
questions
reach
are
out
on the
to them.
portal.
So who would I would get it out to the economic, right, SIP? And, you want me to do LHS?
Not
Heritage, but LHS?
Society.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna send it to all the chairs.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
They
you're
can
sending it
do
to the
it.
chairs. Can you, oh,
What
is
they
she
do.
allowed?
Historical doesn't have a chair.
Right.
so you can-
Yeah, I generally don't do the.
That's what I mean, it's not a
Historical
town, all right, so
do that
you're
one.
okay if I
See,
forward
yeah.
it to them? Everyone's okay if I forward it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I would get chastised if you didn't.
I know by who.
All of them? Okay. That's pretty cool, though. That is cool. All right, up next, Town Administrator and Selectmen reports.
What about the town budget proposal?
So, a few quick,
That's just up
try to
to
go through them real quick.
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen meeting, just a reminder, the 11th is moved to the 18th because of Veterans Day. The MS1 report is complete. We're awaiting for the tax rate. Just to let you know, the education warrant for 2024 was received, and that's stated there. It's a little lower than what was received in 2023. We are having a leadership meeting tomorrow. We're gonna talk about, we're trying to determine what the year-end surplus will be. We are going to start a warrant article list for you. And hopefully we'll have that for your meeting on Monday night, because reminder, you meet again on Monday night.
Yep.
I've also, Road Agent Brown is going to come on Monday night and speak to you about an issue. And then we're hoping that Primex's insurance rates are supposed to come in this week. And we're hoping that's before Thursday when we have another meeting with budget. The Pennachuck rate case final hearing is scheduled for January 14th. Our October 16th meeting is rescheduled to December 12th. There was a notice, and this is on the website, should anyone want to look at it. The remedial action plan put forth by St. Gobain to DES was rejected. So that remedial action plan is kind of a cleanup in how they will take care of the property that they are vacating because they're moving out. And DES has said that that plan is not adequate and has given them 90 days to go back. And then we received the 2024 county budget invoice. That too is a little lower than the 2023. And that has a pay date of December. Road Agent Brown and I submitted the quarterly report to DES on the Clean Fleet grant. They have confirmed with us that we have met all the requirements, so I am submitting a final reimbursement to get our money back for the Western Star truck. And that grant will be complete.
Good.
Notices, are being sent to the residents, and so that, this is on the website, as well. I want, people to know they should not be concerned, but they may get a notice, and it's down below on your portal, from the state. This is the new federal requirement on public water systems that may or may not contain lead. So DES is going through, and I am not quite sure how they are determining what public water system has traces of lead or not, but they will send you a letter, and it will either state you should or don't have to have your water system tested, and your pipes and all of that, and they will supply free testing. So,
This is for public water.
public water systems, yes. So if you receive a letter similar, you can read more on our website under the community tab. Legal counsel, the Mitchell Group, also notified us of a change in the term abutter under state law. So this is effective September 1st, and it has to do with the abutters that are across a stream or a waterway, and how you determine what the footage is that determines
distance?
whether they have to be noticed as an abutter. I have sent that to all the land use boards in town. You want me to send it to you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is down below in the portal, but I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you so you have it. And then there's one last item. So the leadership meeting that we are having on tomorrow, I wanted to let you know, we would like to ask the selectmen's permission to investigate having different hours at town hall.
What do you mean?
So whether it is most effective, so many town halls across the state have night hours, right? Have hours after 5 o'clock where residents can come in and, either register their motor vehicle, or maybe they're a board member and they need to speak to one of us, and we've closed and we're not here. So would it be effective if we worked, and I'm not putting any parameters on it, I'm just giving an example, Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days, and we're here some night hours after 5? And would the residents want that? Would they not want that? Of course, we'd want to do surveys, we'd want to get feedback. We're just trying to find out how we can better serve our residents. And would they prefer a different hour? We have heard in the past that it's very difficult for people to get here by 4 o'clock. And we have residents that come in and it's, 5 of 4, and they're like, they raced here. We certainly don't want that. So maybe it's more beneficial to be open till, 7 on a Thursday night, or like banks are, or whatever. We'd like to just research it and gather data and bring it back to you at some point.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
I think
issue.
it makes sense. For years, the town hall used to be open. Used to do things at night.
Town clerk's office used to be open till
The town clerk
6,
would
yeah.
It'd be at night all the time.
Way back, it was open later than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mother used to be town clerk past luck, and Monday nights they're open.
Yeah.
Work was having the meetings,
Yeah.
okay, but downstairs.
It was the night when you
I-
could come and take care of business.
I think that the study is a good response to understand what the community needs. And I think, if you ask me, this is all stemmed from the budget committee commentary about cutting services in the town hall, specifically the tax collector's office. I'm glad that they're deciding to go take a look at it and look at what potentially they really do need, right? Because maybe maybe they're underserving. They may need more hours. And how do you figure out what's the right day? So this study will help figure that out. So,
I'm seeing a town here, Amherst is 8 to 4 every day, but then Brookline is Monday through Thursday, 8 to 2. So again, if people want full-time work, you have to look at that. If it's 4 10-hour days, you have
But
to
even
figure
8 to
that.
2 is
This is gonna
not
be
a-
knocking people down to part-time, so. Or you do the later days, like you're saying, especially around tax time, end of month, people are trying to pay, for their cars or whatever.
yeah, but
Right.
Might need
whatever
coverage
hours
on
you,
certain days, but,
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that,
yeah, and I know some that actually have different departments that, so, right, so that the town hall is actually open, but some departments cover, or some employees cover these hours, some employees cover those hours. There's lots of different ways that it can be done. There are some that, work later on Thursday night and then they close at noon on Fridays. I mean, there's many different
There's
possibilities.
so many flexibility with the towns and stuff like that, I know, like town clerks, the tax collectors are open like one night a week, okay, to take that influx in, okay? Now, they have 3 or 4 people in their staff, may not need all 3 or 4 people that one night, but just 2.
Mhm.
And you can flex, you can float it around, you know what I'm saying? The staff around on that, if you've got that amount of staff. I know in some towns, the building department were open at night, but those are towns where the building inspector was either part-time, but if he was full-time, I used to work one night a week in Milford, okay, to about 8, for the after-hour crowd, I call it, okay? But never got it, that's still a 40-hour week, no matter how many hours you work, okay, to me, okay? But I'm just saying, that's the flexibility that you allow, because the outside world doesn't have the, I'm gonna say, the flexibility sometimes to get out of work to go do something, because of the nature of their job or the timing. Or in today's world, you've got technology that's cutting down the walk-in to registration online, stuff like that, right? Can you do that still, yeah?
You can, I just think that there are times when even people who work, they have questions and things, they need
Yeah.
to see someone face to face. There are many nights like we have meetings, right? Like tonight, or on Thursdays when we have the budget committee, the office closes at 4 and there's some of us that are here right through till 7 o'clock at night.
No doubt about that.
Or our committee members need to speak to someone
Yep.
and they'd like to come in and speak to us before their meeting, We try always, I always try to make the schedule stay here as long as I can to help whomever, but you also have to think about employees' work-life balance, right? So, if you're going to make employees work longer on this end, where do we give them some time to compensate for that?
And young families working and stuff like that, they have to be a family type thing, they can home at a certain time for the children. You gotta do with that.
And so I certainly, not that we wouldn't work, we'll discuss this as a team of directors, but
Let's do a
the
study.
town clerk, and had approached me and I said I would bring this up, tonight, I thought it was a great idea to just research it and find out where our residents stand.
Look for flexibility.
What would they
find out
like?
What they want.
Well, I don't think the residents would complain about having the town hall open a night during the week.
Oh, no.
The only question, I mean, as long as everybody in here is on board with it, all the department heads, but in their departments, you know, the people they represent, do you open at noon on a day when you stay late or something like that? How do you shift the hours? That's really what's gotta be figured out, I think. I think that's how they used to do it, right? They used to open late one day, the day that
They split their, right, well, they had two, they would split the people coming in, so that one person would stay later at night.
Yeah.
But,
When they opened up here, it wasn't like that.
At the old place it was.
The old place, it was like that.
Yeah.
Because of the space and flexibility area.
I think the research opens up the idea whether the town's open 4 days a week with very longer hours, or they open 5 days a week, but that one day is nice long, and what day is that? I think it's worth the effort. I don't see any reason for not doing it.
I'd like to
It'll
see
be
them stay
interesting.
open 5 days a week. You know, just shift the hours one day. That would be my personal preference. But
Well,
it's up to them how
yeah.
they do it.
Let's look at the study, let's put it out there, Kim, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what we can do to get input from the outside, for what would help, and the citizens, have them bring input as well if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can create a survey and send it out to the residents and ask their whatever.
Yeah, I think
Be
as
back
a,
on
as a
whatever
team,
hours
I
that they-
think as a team
yeah.
we'll come up with something pretty decent. The only other thing I wanted to say was, so as a group, you know, we've been talking, and we'd like to put together a strategic plan. So a strategic plan, very different from a master plan, right? To kind of just give us clear goals that you expect of your departments and where we're going and what we should be working on. And I think this has come up since I've been here. There's been a lot of question as to, you know, what should we be working on and how should we be moving forward. I think if you look, the town of Amherst has a great one. The town I kind of put out there, this is something that obviously I studied when I was in Pittsburgh, a whole course on this, and we did kind of our first step of a SWOT analysis, and looking at some of the departments that submitted it already, I was really surprised at how much of them were alike, and then which ones were different. And so I was been speaking with the chief. The chief was planning to do one for the police department anyways, so I think it's prime opportunity that we do one and then we bring it forward and the board can decide if we're on the right track and what you're adding and what you're not adding. But I think we need a blueprint on where you want the departments to go and what we should focus on and what's our goals.
So remember, the SWOT helps identify what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are. That gives us some view into the departments and be able to help kind
Right.
of shape it going forward. Yeah, it's a good idea.
They might
We
have
need your,
information we don't have.
and it's a good budget tool, right? Because here's your goals, here's where you wanna go, that, your budget should be reflective of that. You know, so I think there's certainly, it's a very common tool, both in private industry and in municipal.
I do it every year.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's just something, it's not something that we have. And it's hard sometimes for us to know where you and the community wants us to go. And that's ultimately the goal, right? We want to go where the residents and the leadership wants us to.
I think it's important we get the input.
Yeah, I don't think you require a motion from us at all. We're supportive of you doing it. I'd be interested to see what the feedback looks like when it's all done. I don't, yeah. I mean, you're
Oh, I agree.
you're the leader of all the other departments,
So-
and this is gonna help you form
Yeah.
that idea.
So you get your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats.
Exactly.
They know what they are, we don't. We
Right.
know some, so it'd be nice to see
No, to look,
what they're thinking, and what they're, maybe if they, an opportunity, a threat, or weakness can become an opportunity, right?
always.
If we look at it and see it coming,
All,
right? So I think it's a
all
good
threats are
idea that we
opportunities.
do it. I'm not making the leap to budget yet, because I just want to see what they say first.
I
I don't know
would-
if we're fractured or in time cadence, how the departments are working. I'm sure they're working fine together, but it'd be nice to see it pictorially.
If you have some very, very good directors, some very talented people that have ideas and have thoughts, and I think it would be good if they can take the input that they have received from the community and give you some ideas and some opportunities of the goals that they see, and then of course the board and the boards and commissions, I mean, can weigh in and give us
Yeah.
feedback.
I think my only ask would be I'd like to see the raw plus the roll-up,
You
right?
got it,
So
absolutely.
we see the full picture.
Oh, just see like individual
The raw
departments
data.
first? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I like to
And
see
their
the
words.
raw data and their words, but then I like to see, because you're gonna sit with the department heads and go through it all and explain it and put it in some kind of higher level kind of plan, so it'd be nice to see it. I think it'll be good feedback.
And they shouldn't sugarcoat anything. They should say it the way they really feel,
Right.
without realizing there'll be any ramification. There shouldn't be.
Well,
At full support, we want to see it.
Okay.
Well, at least that's me, but you guys.
no, I think, again, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's an interesting approach, and I'm like, yeah, it will show some valuable data. It'll tell us a point in time where the department heads are, where the departments are, especially what their opportunities are, what their threats are, what their concerns are. I think it's a very good use of time, and it's not a heavy lift for everybody to do it,
No,
so.
and there are many towns, that have their boards and their commissions do the same thing, right? I mean, they have conservation do one, they might have heritage do one. I mean, you can move that way. We'll start with the internal departments and then work from there. Maybe they'll want to do it, maybe they won't.
And I think I
Whatever.
think some of the commissions, like recreation and conservation, probably be a good exercise for them too.
I mean,
They're all-
conservation has an excellent plan.
Yeah.
That they've developed, their land plan. But,
I think it makes sense.
try to bring it all together.
So the Board of Selectmen do one?
Depends what the threats are.
Oh.
And that's all I have, sir.
It's just usually a piece of paper with, SW, OT, and just a couple of bullet points on each one.
Yeah, it's really high level, but it does give it a picture into their world. Right?
Which is important.
Because we don't see that.
No.
Or at least I
No,
don't
we don't see it every day, and I think we may see a lot of common concerns across all the departments too, which is something that, if you're seeing a problem that's common across, the board does need to take try to address it, right? Change it if we can. So. Okay. Cool.
I mean, you guys that are here on a more frequent basis than me, you guys see more than I do, but my goal is to stay out of people's way. So, have I done a good job?
Yeah.
I'm trying to pronounce his name on his truck.
All right, so up next. Oh, is that the end of that? Is everybody done?
Selectmen reports, I believe, at this point.
Yes, selectmen reports. Up first, Recreation, Mr. Gannon's not here, he's also Heritage. so we won't get those updates. We will start with conservation and emergency management.
It's
Anywhere
not,
else
so
in there?
emergency, nothing new to report on emergency management. I have been working with the school on some of their planning for some of their drills and stuff, but other than that, nothing
Mhm.
earth shattering. There's been no energy commission meetings or committee meetings of late. Conservation, I do have an update, so the public knows. After many, many hundreds of hours of project effort and time, the Brooklyn project is now complete. Bridge 1 and Bridge 2 are now completed, open for the public, go enjoy them. I did the walk last weekend, I think it was, before Bridge 2 was finished.
Mhm.
The bridges are really nice. My grandkids really love running across it, so that was good. Conservation did a goals review at the last meeting. They have kind of documented the top 20 list of goals, which is, basically building bridges, updating the land plan and that kind of thing. In preparation, I think, to come to the board and kind of refresh us on what their activities are and that kind of thing. Dara Pond milfoil was deferred to 2025, which I think we expected. And then a quick update on the Drosher property. Survey is almost completed. The wetlands have all been flagged. The environmental assessment is in progress. Expect all to be complete within the next month or in the month. And the state of New Hampshire Executive Council has approved our source water protection grant in the amount of $360,000. So that's now officially done. I think that's everything. And I'm assuming you're getting all the updates and the paperwork for all that stuff too, what's coming out of that stuff?
I didn't get the acceptance, but I can get it from the,
Okay. If not, I'll reach out to Matt and make sure it gets copied over to you.
yeah, if
I think
they,
that's late. I think that just happened.
Karen will need the acceptance,
Okay.
on the grant, and generally the governor's office puts it out.
Okay. I think they learned about that like Thursday or Friday of last week, so.
Oh, so
it's fresh, yeah. I don't think it's that long. And I didn't make the last conservation meeting because I was at a budget meeting, I think, if I recall correctly, so. So that's everything from that perspective, and I think that's everything for me.
Well, hopefully the surveyors get the markings right, because I know the first day they got a little lost and ended up on a property next door,
Oh.
whose name
Well,
I
I know
won't
the
mention.
abutter next door, I hope he was very kind, I'm pretty sure he was.
It was a she, it wasn't a he,
Case closed,
but the he got the call.
the family thing.
Up next, planning board, Mr. Lynch.
I didn't go to the last meeting, I've had pneumonia for about 8 days now, I'm just getting over it. Nice, I went to the doctors last week and gave me some more pills. This is my first time out in a while. So,
Okay.
I did watch it, it was very cut and dry.
Mhm. Okay.
Wasn't very strong. I will say that, I'd like to thank the rec department for getting the bridges across. Bob, going back to the day we put up the bridges there
Snowmobile
ourselves.
Club.
For the snowmobiles across the brook.
Yep.
Not only that, we did it at Shakespeare too, down there.
Yep.
That
All the
was
way.
a long bridge. So, I'm glad they did it, they look great.
It's another fun fact for Litchfield, used to have a snowmobile club.
That's right. Litchfield, and I.
The High Riders or the Highliners?
Highliners, and we had the
Highliners.
power lines.
Yep.
And I got all the stuff at home.
Yep.
Still. And the original skidoo was in my garage.
Jerry's got his too.
It's 1968.
All right, up next, capital improvement and economic development,
All right.
NRPC.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so capital improvement, we meet Wednesday, October 23rd, 6:30 PM. It just says conference room, 2 Liberty Way. Does that mean this conference room?
Yep.
Okay, we meet here. We know we are winding down the year and have to get something to this board, so we are working on that. Last we left, Jay was working on his spreadsheet, right? Some of the recommendations that we made, library had come in. I think maybe police, I forget, there was another one. All right, Economic Development Committee, we are meeting Wednesday, October 30th, 6:30 PM here. I'm not sure, we send out an email did we get any responders back from the original? Not yet, okay. So we had met with a focus group and we had, I think, 5 people show. And we're reaching back out to them to see if they want to finish phase 2 of that. We're hoping they will, or we know some personally, I'll make some calls too, but we would need to get a report here also to the Board of Selectmen, so we're trying to get that wrapped up if we can. Energy Commission is no longer mine, but you said there might be yeah, John, so didn't you say she may be coming in, or one of the power companies, to explain to the town where we are on that? Is that
Next
coming
month,
up?
right?
Is that?
That's gonna be next month, isn't it?
Is that next month? It's
I thought
not
it was
this month?
October 29th.
No, I thought.
I didn't write
yeah.
it down, I just know
think
it's coming.
next Tuesday.
And I didn't want to step on your toes.
Um,
So we haven't,
We,
They- we
yes,
haven't-
Oh, yeah, at the
because
fire
it was the
station.
night we
Bid
had the
yet.
planning, they were on again, off again. So that, is Emily, Mans from, Standard Power will be coming to, I've received quite a few phone calls from people asking when the community power, program will start. And Emily's going to speak to the committee, and any members of the public to let them know what the delay is, why we've been delayed, and it's not just us, it's like 17 other communities.
Yep.
When we expect that there will be an RFP that might be accepted, and she'll go over all of that. We just thought it was a good idea, from the number of calls that I have received, if we get something taped that can be publicly out there so that our community knows what's going on.
so
Because
that's,
it has been, we did expect to launch this fall, and unfortunately, the
the rates aren't low enough yet.
the rates.
So,
weren't
so
gonna
that's
be-
not really scheduled yet, you're thinking next month?
It is scheduled
For what day?
for, next Tuesday night,
At
at
the fire station.
6:30 at the fire station.
What's the date on that?
October 29th.
Okay.
And,
All right.
I've heard back from a couple of committee members, but, I'm hoping to have a quorum.
Let's see, the last NRPC, so we are meeting November 15th, full quorum. We no longer meet quarterly. We anticipate the 10-year tip improvement changes that come along. Right now, the 10-year plan, all of the projects have been submitted. I believe you're on the list of going through some of them. Litchfield did not put in any projects this year, so any town that didn't put one in can be on the committee that selects the ones that do go. $70 million worth of projects were submitted, and we only have $7 million. So,
Good luck.
yeah, we're gonna look at how we distribute it. And some of them are just way, I'm not saying national, but,
There must have been.
when they
there
put in
must have
something
been
for 50
30
million, it's like, no.
projects.
So, yeah. So anyway, we're looking at a ranking system on that. And you were-
I'm sorry, we're still, in line for the coning project. right?
Yeah,
We
it's
still
on the
have that
10-year
on
plan, yeah. It did make it through, thank gosh, we've been watching that one. It actually went up in price, so let's hope that doesn't, backfire anywhere, but. Okay, so I think that is all I have. We will continue to work with those transportation projects. The quorum, just so you know, I think it's his 40th anniversary right now of NRPC or something coming up. Or at least the forum. It's gonna be housing, but not just housing. You can't just go build houses, you need water, road and infrastructure, right? They're trying to build homes in Mount Vernon and they can't find water when they go to dig the wells, so it's a really complicated issue that we're gonna have,
There's plenty of
forums
water.
about that. Yeah, well, they can't even find any over there in Mount Vernon, so,
It's
Anyway.
there, they just don't wanna go down that far anymore.
You get Winky with his dowsing rod,
You got it.
you
We
can
can
find
do it.
water. You find it in a
I've
stone.
seen it happen 100 times. He's
You
so-
come across
so
him, he
good
was
at
the
it.
best.
Yep.
You get it right there, you get good water right there.
Yep.
You
Sure
always
have.
be right.
Dug down there once. I've been at least 7 or 8 wells he's a big one time doing that.
Yeah, I think there's only one guy in town that still does that.
I tried, I ain't got it.
So, all right, budget committee, Well, we've been discussing that a lot tonight, so.
I watched it.
Meet again Thursday, another round of cuts. So we'll see where it goes this week. Stay tuned on that. And then the facilities, we meet tomorrow night, actually. And they've done their survey, the survey's out in the community. Been hearing some actual complaints from people, and I'll steal their thunder for tomorrow. I was gonna bring this up tomorrow, but the way that the wording of the questions was, would you consider, the questions all let in with, would you consider
Yes.
option A, option B, and C? But then the answers would be strongly agree, or strongly support, not at all, don't support. So they didn't give you the option of saying, yes, I would consider it. But, so some people were construing that as saying, if you say, I would support this, that you are in fact supporting like a new school or something like that, so. And it just slipped, I think, personally, I think it just slipped everybody's mind, that was putting the survey together, and definitely did mine, until it was brought to my attention.
I put mine together and I said, when I come to that section here, I says maybe. Okay, I did cross off and put maybe,
There you go.
because there's too many answers to the same
Yes,
question.
yeah, yeah. But I just try to give them some guidance where they wanna go with it. So. And that's it. We meet tomorrow. Okay? I think that's it for this public session of this meeting. Does anybody have anything else they wanna discuss?
The weather is terrible.
Okay.
Want to go on the record saying that?
You wanna go up north or down south?
This happened to me today. I went to the beach today. My wife, we're together, just me and her there, because the kids were not there. So we went, it was 74 degrees when we got there. We left, it was 82. So I texted my sister-in-law in Orlando, who's still there. Okay, and she texted me back saying, it's 82 here too as well. I says, come on up.
Yeah, there you go.
Unreal.
All right, that will end this public session of this meeting. We do have some non-public items under RSA 91-A semicolon 3, 2A in parentheses. Good night, Corey. The dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against him unless the employee affected, 1, has a right to a meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. RSA 91-A semicolon 3, 2C in parentheses, matters that, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the body itself, unless such person requests an open meeting. And RSA 91-A semicolon 3, 2D in parentheses, consideration or acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property, which, if discussed in public, would likely benefit a party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Brunel. We have a second from Mr. Lynch. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 400. We are now going into non-public at 8:05 PM. Everyone have a wonderful night. Enjoy the weather. Got a nice stretch this week. Talk to you soon.
Thursday.